Shabbat Shalom umevorach. Welcome, bruchim habayim, ladies and gentlemen. This week we'll be reading Parashat Vayishlach. And we know we ended off last week's parasha. Yaakov Avinu married Rachel and Leah, and Lavan tricked him, and then he had to run away from Lavan finally. And now in this week's parasha, Yaakov Avinu is getting ready to meet his brother Esav. The pasuk says, "Viשלח Yaakov melachim lefanav," and he sent angels and he sent people to go greet Esav. What did Yaakov tell these people who were greeting Esav to say? In the next pasuk it says, "Ko amar avdecha Yaakov." This is what your servant Yaakov says. "Im Lavan garti." With Lavan I lived. What does Rashi and Chazal say? What does it mean, with Lavan I lived? Rashi says, Garti begematria Taryag. Garti is the same letters and it's the gematria of Taryag 613 mitzvot. Kelomar to tell us, Im Lavan harasha garti, with Lavan the Rasha I lived, v'Taryag mitzvot shamarti, and I kept all of the Torah, 613 mitzvot, velo lamati mima'asav haraim, and I didn't learn from his bad doings and bad midot. So the question is, what's going on over here? Yaakov Avinu says in the pasuk, Im Lavan garti, which means the Chazal tell us I lived with Lavan and I kept all of the Torah. So why do Chazal have to add, not only I kept the whole Torah, and I didn't learn velo lamati mima'asav haraim, and I didn't learn from his bad deeds? It's obvious. If you lived with Lavan, who was a Rasha, and you kept all of the Torah, obviously you didn't learn from his bad deeds. So what is Chazal trying to tell us with this extra thing? It sounds repetitive. So the Ben Ish Chai has a beautiful mashal. The Ben Ish Chai says that the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer HaTov, which every single one of us have, had an argument. They said, let's see, instead of the Yetzer HaTov that's fighting to get all the good clients, to be good and learn the Torah and do the mitzvot, and I'm the Yetzer Hara who tries to get people to do bad, let's swap clients one day. Let's try it out. Let's relax one day. You take one of my clients, I take one of your clients. Okay, they said, let's make a deal. The Yetzer Hara decided, who am I going to take? I'm obviously going to take someone who's very learned and a very big tzaddik. He takes this client, and this is someone, an older man, a Rav, that used to sit and learn every single day. He was a matmid. All day he sat and learned, didn't leave his Gemara, didn't leave his Chumash, didn't leave his Sefer. And the Yetzer Hara said, you know what, I'm going to get him. Late at night, this person is learning like he does, and the Yetzer Hara starts giving him ideas, maybe to rest, maybe go see what's going on the street, maybe go outside, see what's going on, outside of the book, outside of the Sefer. Obviously, the Yetzer Hara is very powerful, and he listened. He closed his Sidur, he closed his Gemara, and he went outside. He went on the streets, he went on the road late at night, and he sees that there's a bars, and he sees people watching sports, watching games, and people are screaming, making noises. He's like, what's going on? He goes inside and sees, it's obviously very interesting, and this person, he doesn't know this stuff. He's never been to a bar, he doesn't know what sports is. He goes inside and he sees people watching a game, and people are jumping out of their chairs, they're screaming, they're fighting, they're laughing with so much enthusiasm. And he sees people are serving them drinks. And the people are not even drinking. They're so busy and focused with the game, they're not even looking at the drinks. An hour or two later, he went home, back to his house. He sits down late at night and he starts crying. His wife goes up to him and says, I don't understand, what's going on? Why are you crying? What happened? He goes, you don't understand. Me, I'm learning the Torah every single day. And when you, my wife, you serve me cookies, you serve me a drink, you serve me something I like, you serve me tea, I drink it. I pause, I drink it, I have a cookie, I have dinner, I have a snack. But the goyim on the streets, when they're watching their games and when they're busy with something that they enjoy, they forget about drinks, they forget about food, they forget about everything. So I'm crying because I'm such a failure. I shouldn't be drinking, I shouldn't be eating, I should be so involved in my learning, I should ignore everything on the outside. The Yetzer Hara realized what happened. He ran back to the Yetzer HaTov. It says, Habibi, forget about it. I not only I lost, I made your client even a bigger tzaddik. The Ben Ish Chai says, this is what Chazal is telling us, and this is what Yaakov Avinu said. Yaakov Avinu said, Im Lavan garti, I kept the Tarag mitzvot, but velo lamati mimasav means that Lavan is such a big rasha. He's such a slick guy. He's such a liar. He's such a trickster. Everyone knows he's the biggest player when it comes to business, and he lies and he tricks. He's so involved in his rashaut. I didn't learn how to take that same enthusiasm to my Torah. That's what Yaakov Avinu mean when it says, Velo lamati mimasav. Yes, you're right. I learned the Torah, so you shouldn't be worried. I learned the Torah. I did all the mitzvot. But velo lamati mimasav, I didn't learn from his enthusiasm, his rashaut, how he was such a high baller in doing averot. He was so excited when he used to trick someone. When he tricked Yaakov Avinu, it was his whole life. Yaakov says, velo lamati mimasav, I regret that I didn't learn how to take this and take it to my Torah and take it to my day-to-day life. This is what Yaakov Avinu, what a tzaddik, he's saying, that he complained that I didn't take it and take it to my daily life. I didn't take it and bring my enthusiasm to be a better Jew, to be a better servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Today in the world, it's so easy to take things from the Goyim. Yes, we can learn sometimes things from the Goyim. We could take things that they do and we could take it into our Bet Knesset, take it into our home, but for the good. We see later on, a few psukim later, the pasuk says, when Yaakov Avinu prays to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and says, please save me from my brother, what does he say, Rabotai? Hatzileni na miyad achiv, miyad Esav. Save me from my brother, miyad Esav. The obvious question is, why does he have to say miyad achiv, miyad Esav? Yaakov Avinu only had one brother. Obviously achiv means Esav. Yaakov Avinu is saying, teaching us something else. He's telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Rasha Esav, who's the Yetzer Hara today, sometimes we know who he is, but many times he's a ach, he's a brother. And that's why he preferenced it with achiv. That if, God forbid, he's coming to me like a brother, and he's coming to me so caring and so loving, please save me from this act of trying to act like a brother that I shouldn't fall into him. Then, if he's acting like Esav, save me from Esav. But it's much harder if he comes to me like a brother. This is the same thing, Rabotai. Today, especially in our society, especially where we live, especially with our children, and if we want to grow a family of Torah and mitzvot, we have to realize it's so easy to fall in to the non-Jewish world. It's so easy to fall into the cracks of what's going on outside our homes and to leave the Torah. Today, Esav is not Esav HaRasha. Everyone knows who the Yetzer Hara is. Everyone knows who Esav HaRasha is. But today, he's our brother. Rabotai, he comes in nicely with a smile. He tries to get our children. He tries to get us all the time. The Yetzer Hara has so many different ways to try to take us away from the Torah Kedosha. But we have to learn from Yaakov Avinu. Not only, yes, we have to pray always, take me away from my brother. Save me from my brother, from the Yetzer Hara that's coming so familiar to us that I might fall in, I might not even realize. But also, if we think about it for a second, how many things can we learn from the non-Jewish world? I'm going to say one example, even though there's so many more. We don't go to churches because it's asur, but if you see how a non-Jew walks into a church, if you ask a non-Jew, what goes on in a church? Are people talking? How are the women dressed? Are people on their phones? They'll tell you there's no such a thing. There's respect. And they only go once a week, twice a week. They have respect. When you see them how they walk into a mosque, when you see the non-Jews walking into a church, look how much respect they have. So we could take that, even though yes, maybe it's bad. It's the Yetzer Hara, but we could take it and take it into good. We could say, wow, let me learn how to respect HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For us, it's hard. We go to Bet Knesset every day. We lose ourselves because it becomes so familiar, the Yetzer Hara says. What are you saying? At least you come to shul, you're there every morning, go on your phone, talk a little bit, come a little bit late. We have to realize, no, we have to have the utmost respect for the Bet Knesset. We have to treat HaKadosh Baruch Hu with everything we have. For our children to grow in Torah Ma'asim Tovim. And Be'ezat Hashem, if we take these two lessons and realize that first of all, the Yetzer Hara comes to us on the outside, and especially in our society, it's so easy to us to fall into the cracks. And we also have to realize that let's learn from the Goyim sometimes. Let's learn and see if you see something that someone does, how am I going to make my Judaism better? This is what Yaakov Avinu said, how am I going to learn from Lavan how to make my connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu better? You see certain ideas, you hear certain things, take that and put it into your life. And if we do this, we're going to have such a more spiritual and such a more special life, such more fulfilling life for us and our children. And Bezat Hashem will bring the Mashiach very soon. Shabbat Shalom umevorach.